Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hello, everybody. We're back for another edition of the Diehard Football Podcast. I'm Chris. I'm joined by Dirk. Big B might be here later on in the show. How are you doing today, Dirk?
Oh, pretty good. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Look what my son's got me for Father's Day.
Oh, that's cool.
A Mahomes jersey, because he's a Red Raider and I'm a Red Raider, so that's going though. So a nice jersey, and it actually fits.
That's always good.
So I have good sons. Got 3 boys in college, and they're all really great guys. Jake, Tony, and Joey, my little Italian hit squad.
There you go. So, speaking of Mahomes, it was announced the other day, or I guess yesterday, that he's going to be sharing the cover of Madden with Tom Brady. You think that was a good move for Madden to put those 2 quarterbacks on, or?
Well, you know the Madden jinx.
Yeah.
You know, and it is so odd that it happens like that. Maybe they figured if they put 2 on there, it'll be something. I mean, really, honestly, they're 2 of the most popular players in the NFL. And why not, man? Make that money. They, Brandon said it'll be a couple minutes.
Okay.
But, both popular quarterbacks. One is the elder statesman, and the other is the new breed, the young bloods, things like that. So, yeah, really.
I mean, I think the last time they did like a 2-person Madden was like in 08, 09, something like that. I can't remember the year. Mm-hmm. But it had Palomalu and Fitzgerald, I think it was, on the cover. That was the last time.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. That was the last time they had like a 2 players on the cover.
I didn't play much Madden football when they first kind of came out. I had a friend that had it. He was a Giants fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. So I always had Emmett, and he had I can't remember who he had in the 90s. And basically, it was mid-90s, and the Cowboys were still strong and dominant. I would kill him every time. That's the only time I really played. And I always won. I thought it was easy, but the Cowboys team was so strong, they would almost beat anybody, and things. But I'm not a gamer. I'm almost afraid to look into it now. My sons play, and they do the sports, they do the Halo and the Call of Duty and all that, and they're good at it. So, you're a younger guy. I'm sure you play, right?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I hardly play against anybody, but I do. And it seems like playing against like the game itself is easier than like playing against somebody, because I don't know, it seems easier against the computer or the automated system compared to like playing against a user of the game.
I think probably because the computer does more game logical situations, and random people, they may know how the game works, so they don't do the obvious logical plays, and they do what they think works because it's kind of it does, with the game levels and stuff. The graphics and all that nowadays are just, they're unbelievable. You can get them; they're almost lifelike. Looking at them,
Oh yeah, it's amazing how they can make it so lifelike.
Yeah. You know what else? I know, like, we want to discuss a little Cowboys early. They are going to Oxnard, which I kind of thought they would, but that's always a good thing. And all the guys seem ready. Dak seems in great shape. I've seen the news, watched on the Cowboys blogs. He's moving around great, but he says, "Yeah, I feel great and everything." He's, but we're not getting hit yet, and it'll take him a time or two. He'll probably be a little cautious in the beginning, but them guys, pro athletes, have such a drive. I think they shake it off real quick, whereas the average Joe would be, worried about his ankle for a long time,
Right.
And, but he looks in great shape. I mean, they show him running and everything. Can't tell anything, ankles it might be my imagination. Ankle looks a little bigger, but it might be just because the way it is, or was the angle. I've seen reports of Zeke being in extra good shape this year.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And everybody's saying he's working out like a dog. Well, they said that last year, and they said it the year before. I'm not the biggest Zeke fan in the world. He's good, but just and then the Vikings lost their 5th straight Super Bowl. And I don't know where to go from here.
What's up, guys?
What's up, man? Big B.
How much?
So, Cowboys training camp's going to open back up. I think all of training camps are going to open back up.
Yeah, they're going out there July 21st to Oxnard. Big B, where did the Vikings train at? Did they stay home?
Yeah, they stay home. They actually just built a new facility in Egan area, right off of the main drag. Built a big hotel complex, big, nice football field that some of the bigger high school teams have used for like some big matchups. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they just they just moved down the freeway from where they were practicing at. It used to look like an old barn, a metal barn. So the Wolves actually put some money in, and they actually got a new facility down the road. So they had OTAs, but they canceled Friday's practice for some reason. I want to say it was due to the heat, but I could be wrong. And then hopefully training camp all opens up here soon.
Yeah. They probably called Jerry and asked him what he did to build the star, and took all their ideas from Jerry. You guys know the Cowboys have always gone to Oxnard, or they used to go to Sherman Oaks, and then years ago they tried a couple places here in Texas. They did a couple of years down in Austin, 2 years up in Wichita Falls, San Antonio. When they were in Wichita Falls, I was still in the Air Force, and I was at the base there, Shepherd Air Force Base, for some training, and so I got to see them, and I got to see Troy live. We'd go to the training camp and everything. I saw Emmett, got a autographed football from Dan Hennings, because he was an A-10 pilot. So, and I was a aircraft mechanic, a crew chief. So I'm standing there. I said, "Hey, how about an old crew chief?" And his head popped up because he knew what that was. And so I got an autograph from him, talked to him for a minute. And I did ask him how he fit in that cockpit, because he is a very large man. Yeah. And he's like, "Well, I was like 50 pounds lighter when I was, flying. But, 6'5" in a fighter cockpit, it's like trying to get into a Fiat, and stuff.
Very
But
tight
that was
space, yeah.
really cool to see how they go about practice.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 or 4 things going on in the football field, and at practice, you can really tell the good players from the medium players, because all of a sudden you'll see some guy running and, you don't catch his number and you're like, wow, he's good. And you're like, oh, that's Michael Irvin. And then you'll see number 87, a rookie or whatever, and he does the same route. It's not even close. Or when Aikman was throwing the ball, first they had the third string guy. This is when they had Clint Sterner, and he'd throw the ball, and in your head, you go, wow, he's got a strong arm. And then Aikman goes up there and just zips that thing down, and you're like, oh my God. It's amazing to see up close. I've been to a lot of baseball spring training games and seen what they've done. That's the only time I've been to a football training camp. It's really amazing to see what they do and stuff. Plus, I almost ran over Coach Joe in a golf cart.
Yeah, I mean, the closest I've been to like a training camp was when they did it at the Ford Center a couple times, like towards the end of camp. But I don't know if that's really a camp per se. It's just more like showing off, I guess.
Yeah, the Vikings back in the day would, actually a few years ago, they would always go up to Mankato and practice on their campus and stay there for like 2 weeks. And me and a buddy of mine went up there one year. This was probably 2007-ish or something. Dirk, you're talking about getting autographs. Well, I went up there with the Vikings custom Herrera jersey. So I was going to get that signed by Anthony Herrera no matter what I did. Mm-hmm. He was on the other side of the field, and everybody's like, oh, you got to go over there. I'm like, by the time I get through the crowd, he's going to be on this side of the field. Mm-hmm. So I just held it up. He turned around, held it up. I held it up, Herrera side out, and talk about getting a big guy's eyes to bulge out of his head. And he made a V-line right for the jersey, grabbed the jersey, signed it, and that was it. So, I think training camp's always a good sign to, go and interact with the players a little bit. And you might not always score the superstars, but you'll get, some rookies, some, backup guys to sit and talk to you. That's always good to see.
Now, do you think training camp, I know it's supposed to help you, but do you think it kind of hurts you in a way? Because, I mean, yeah, you're practicing, but it's also a risk of getting injured, especially before the season.
They need training camp. You always wonder what they do need training camp. Of course, the thing is with the exhibition games, okay, but they need to, and of course, over the years with the new player agreements and stuff, they don't practice so much in pads anymore. Okay, so they don't hit hard. There is something to be said. I heard guys talking last year on a sports show. Your body needs to get conditioned to getting hit. Yeah. There's a certain, your muscles react different and everything. So you do need to get hit. It's just your body gets conditioned to it a little bit. So, limited pads. And I think the players like to practice in pads more depending, on what they want, what they feel they need. Excuse me. And there is something to be said for that. But I think, and just like in baseball, these guys stay in shape year round now. It's, they 40 years ago, they used to come in and use training camp to get in shape. Now they're in shape anyway, but what they use training camp for, it's to fine tune everything. They may work, on something in the off season, like for instance, Leighton Vander Esch is really working on his shoulders, his neck to build up more muscle there. And he said he really concentrated it on there because he has the spinal stenosis in his neck. and he said he wanted to put a little more body armor around him. And I have a feeling he's going to have a monster year. I wish the Cowboys had picked up his 5th-year option.
Yeah.
But it's all salary cap BS, because he'll be gone next year, I guess. I hate to
Unless
see
he
that.
proves something this year.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dirk. Finish up.
No, I was done.
I was going to say, I mean, training camp, it's like 50-50 if you need it or not. I mean, they need the practice stuff to get in tune to the playbook and the other players. I mean, do they really need the 2-a-days, the 3-a-days, morning practice and then lunch and then evening? I don't know about that. And now, the big talk is the preseason games. They're doing 3 this year and then possibly renegotiate for 2 or less, the following years. Everybody wants that good action, preseason, college, everybody wants a good football game, or good football action, I should say, not a game. I mean, the coaches know who's going to make the team, weeks into the preseason. So, the games probably don't matter. But, I mean, it gives a good look for, like, a guy, the first thing that comes to mind is Chris Walsh, who was always, or Don Beebe, another one that would light up the preseason, and he would make the squad just because of what he did in preseason as a 5th, 6th receiver, mainly a special teams guy. So,
Right.
I mean, a lot of coaches know going in where they need to fill, and the practice really makes up their mind. I don't know if the preseason games really do, but I think training camp to a point needs to be there. I mean, getting hurt or not, I mean, if you believe in God or whatever, you're going to get hurt no matter what, no matter if it was in the practice or just walking from your dorm room to the field.
Mm-hmm.
If it's your time to get hurt, it's your time to get hurt. So
or just walking outside your front door. I mean,
exactly.
Happen, so, I mean, I mean, I think they should not get rid of, but maybe do 2 preseason games, one at home, one on the road.
Yeah,
I think 2 preseason games is good. It's about the money, and next year when they go to 18 games, which I think they'll do, because having an odd number of games is weird.
Well, the team that doesn't get that home game is going to complain about it. So
well, I think they're going to alternate that every year.
Yeah, it'll be 18. It'll be 18 for sure.
Yeah, if not next year, the year after, I think they will. Yeah, they just, because, college doesn't need preseason games. They do play spring football, but not against other teams. Occasionally, they'll scrimmage another team. Now, when they're having training camp, you want to scrimmage another team, by all means do that.
I was just going to bring that up.
That way you're not beating on yourself all day and you see other teams, other schemes and things. And, of course, a lot of teams, they won't show some plays, during training camp, spring training, whatever, everything like that. So, it's their conditioning and everything, that's the thing. And, I think they're all in good shape. It's guys recovering from an injury first year back, i.e. Dak, and or other players. And, they definitely need to have something like that. So, and 2 preseason games is good. We're not going to get rid of 20 games. You know what I mean?
No.
Because when you buy a season ticket, you buy the 3 season tickets, which I always thought was a joke. Why don't you get the fans that don't have
at the same price?
Yeah, at the same price. Well, have cheaper tickets so the fans that can't afford they never think like that, but have the fans that can't afford, $100 a ticket, put tickets in the training games, $25 each, something like that, or $50 in the lower bowl, $25 in the upper. That way people normal people can afford it, because half the people that go to the games are just rich and they don't even really know the game, isn't there quarterback Roger or Troy or something like that?
Yeah.
It was. They were.
So,
but
what do you guys think if they ended up, let's say they got rid of the preseason games? What do you think if they would, Dirk kind of mentioned it, scrimmage other teams, but televised it somehow to where we actually, people that don't go to training camp could go see what a training camp's like, and then they do a little scrimmage, 7-on-7 or 11-on-11 just to kind of go through that. You think that would be kind of a draw?
Jerry
Wow, I
probably
never
wouldn't
thought
allow
about
that.
it's televising a scrimmage. That would be an interesting idea because there's always 3 or 4 things going on. So you have a couple of cameras and an on-field reporter. So you're watching the offense run these plays, or when they're running against each other. And then you say, okay, now this is what the defensive linemen, this is how they work on this play. So they show the 4 defensive linemen going and practicing, and they have a guy explaining techniques and stuff like that. So that would be pretty interesting. I think.
I mean, do like you do like the Vikings. Vikings used to scrimmage Kansas City a lot when they used to practice up in Wisconsin. So bring them in and be like, okay, we got the Vikings versus Kansas City in a scrimmage today, but we're gonna also show you what happens, training camp style, because a lot of people don't get to go, So
Yeah.
I just thought that. I don't think they're going to get rid of preseason games like Dirk said. I mean, everybody wants that action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Dallas does something like that. The blue-white scrimmage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they all do the inner. Vikings do the purple and gold.
Yeah.
No,
they do
Green Bay probably does the Packers versus the waste management team. I don't know. I mean, so.
So. I mean, yeah, they do that, and I think Cowboys are gonna practice with the Rams because they shared that facility, the Oxnard facility.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they usually do out there. I think the last couple of years it's been with the Rams. When the Raiders were out there, they practiced with the Raiders and stuff, and. Of course, our local sports station, they go out there. So they're out there all day in their different shows. Then they talk about it and stuff. Which
they
is
interview some of the players. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's the same here in Minnesota. They, the radio stations out there, TV crews are out there. It's nonstop coverage on the radio. So, I mean, football's football. I think everybody enjoys it, especially if you're a sports fan. So,
Now, one thing I heard before I came on was that, like TV crews and people can't film Lamar Jackson throwing anymore. I'm not sure why, but
oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I find that interesting.
Wow, they don't. Who knows?
I mean, granted, we don't see Lamar throw that much, anyways, but. So.
But that kind of leaves question of, is he bad, like in practice?
Yeah.
I'm not thinking game setting, but just in practice, and they're like, we don't want to show that.
It may be he has a hidden tick or something he does.
Yeah.
Just kind of
run. I don't want to show it.
And so when he does that, he'll maybe fake throwing it, but by whatever he does, he licks his fingers or doesn't lick his fingers or something like that. I mean, there's always in practice, they don't let they have like the hidden practice with no reporters in there and stuff, so, it's all a big secret, of course, everybody spies on everybody else.
I was going to say, they still get in.
Yeah, I mean, stadium, you put on the janitor uniform and you bring a little camera, a phone with you, and you can park out there somewhere. What is this play? I don't know, a flea flicker,
Yeah. So speaking of quarterbacks, did you guys see the reports out of Miami that might be concerning about Tua and all the picks he's throwing so far? I mean, would you
No.
guys be concerned if you? Oh, yeah, I read. I think ESPN had it that during their OTAs, like Tua was just getting picked off left and right, so they're kind of concerned a little bit. I mean, what do you guys think?
Maybe he didn't keep himself in as good a shape, or
I mean, is it concerning for a fan to see that? I mean, it's only OTAs, it's practice. I mean,
yeah.
You
Well,
you know, should they be worried?
Well, he only played 10 games last year, and he was his quarterback rating was horrible. You know, it's
Yeah.
like 52. But I figure young guy, young team. I mean, he was really good at Alabama. I find it hard to somebody. Maybe he'll just be an average quarterback. But I think he'd have to be. At least around an 80 rating. A 52 is.
Yeah, I think
great arm, and he can run. Or maybe he can't run anymore because of the hip injury, but I thought he could,
that's true.
And Miami also
But they also lost their backup now. I mean, they don't have Fitzmagic back there to bail them out. So,
No. I'd be concerned, if he was the starting quarterback anywhere, if that's going to be your franchise quarterback, your go-to person, I'd be concerned.
Okay.
Or maybe their secondary is really good.
That's true too. I mean, they did have a good defense. I mean,
yeah, it could be one thing, or he might. Some athletes they always start out rusty, no matter how good a shape they're in, and some guys just got to get in shape and then get a little tired, then they're on their game.
Yeah.
Baseball, there's guys that start out red hot every year and fade, and there's guys that start out
season 4
every year and then finish the year 300 for 40 bombs and things like that. Football, you want everybody to start out hot and stay hot.
Oh yeah,
because you only have 17 games now, so
short season.
The training camp stuff is supposed to work out. It could be a thing. It could be, maybe they're asking opening the playbook more. Because usually with a rookie they don't have like we saw with Dak here in Dallas. His rookie year, it's fantastic, but they also didn't open up the playbook. It was very simple, very safe plays. And they had a good enough team to run with that, so maybe that's Tua's issue. Maybe they're opening it up, so he's got to learn more, and he'll get used to it. I'm pretty sure. I can't think he's going to be horrible.
No, I don't either. I mean, so.
But I think he probably took a long break, and he forgot some of the plays of the playbook. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I know a lot of teams blow up OTAs like it's something special, and it's not. I mean, it's practice. We all know that.
Right.
Have you guys heard about Cam with a little bit of a hand issue up there in New England, and Mac Jones is during the OTAs has been looking very sharp. And one good thing.
Now, did you say Cam had a ham? Did you say Cam had a hand or a ham issue?
Hand.
So, okay. I thought maybe he started eating too much and just can't get away from the ham.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Maybe he was making ham and forgot.
Yeah, he was eating too much honey baked ham.
So a hand issue. Okay.
But personally, I think you got me saying it. Because it's Cam, hand, and ham.
Yeah.
Personally, I think I can't get off it. Cam's arm, I think it's shot. Because he never showed arm strength last year. He hasn't shown arm strength in like 3 or 4 years because he had the shoulder issue a couple of years ago. He's still got the legs and everything, but I don't think other teams are afraid of his arm now. That's why he's not good. And he's not a pinpoint passer. He's not like Peyton Manning, who had no arm left, could still make the pass because he knew just where to throw it,
Oh, yeah.
And, I wouldn't be surprised, if Mac Jones is showing him good stuff, to see him step in after a while. I mean, maybe use Cam as third down option because he can run.
Yeah.
Goal line.
Yeah, but they put Cam third down, then it's a run play almost every time, so they're going to stack the box.
Yeah.
I think Cam's days are numbered.
Yeah.
I think maybe he does need to go find a job at the Honeyham factory or something, and but I mean, unless he can prove that he's a decent backup, I mean, I can see Cam being a decent backup, but as a starter, his days are numbered.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be surprised if who's that? Fields is not the number one guy there.
Is in Chicago?
No, not
you're talking
in New England. New England. Yeah,
Stidham, the Baylor Bear.
Stidham was good, I thought, but
he might be. He's been in the league 4 years, and he's played. So, but what they pay the first round picks now, if they're any good at all, and
your first rounders are started almost every time.
Yeah. So
unless you're sitting behind a Rodgers or a Mahomes or something, but yeah, if you get a first round quarterback, he's almost starting every time.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about Joe Burrow? He thinks he's going to be 100% come actual training camp. He had.
I hope he is.
He had more stuff done than Dak did, but and it was about the same time. I mean, great young quarterback,
For Cincinnati's hope, I hope he is.
Yeah.
I hope he's ready to go.
It is Cincinnati, so they're not there as far as being a solid playoff team. So I wouldn't rush him, but I'd want to get him back.
No, but they're a playoff team with them. I mean,
maybe a wild card,
Yeah.
They're definitely a different team with him.
Oh,
but don't rush the poor guy back because he shredded that knee.
Oh,
I mean,
that's why they needed the offensive line help.
Everything,
That's why they had to go offensive line this draft. They needed that help. I mean, you can't let your franchise quarterback take that beating.
No, that's why Kansas City drafted O-line.
Yep.
Or the Bucks.
Yeah, but it doesn't help that. It doesn't hurt that your quarterback can actually run like Mahomes. I mean, so you don't need you can just have an average line and just hope they block and Mahomes has time. That's one thing in Minnesota. We don't have a line that can block our quarterback that stands still. So.
But I think too that even if your quarterback or whoever else is practicing and they get hit like Dak did or Burrow, you don't know until they actually get the first hit, the first sack.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you guys recall Teddy Bridgewater. He got hit in practice, and they thought he was going to lose his legs. I mean, that story got blown up really bad. Yeah, so I mean, now Teddy's back. Probably, honestly, I believe Teddy's the best backup quarterback in the league. He comes in and does what needs to be done. I don't think he's a starter. I think he needs to get that out of his head. I think for sure he's a definitely backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm. He brings different options to the game. He can run a little bit, and he's had good seasons. He's been in the league a few years now, so he's definitely worth his money. And they're professional athletes. They all want to start, and they're going to talk.
Oh, no doubt. Everybody wants to start.
But you want your guy to talk like that. Now, he didn't talk like that when Drew Brees was in front of him, but now, who's he on, Carolina?
No,
who's Carolina?
New Orleans, I thought.
Did he stay?
No, he went to New Orleans, then to Carolina, and I believe he's on the trading block right now, Carolina. Something tells me
Oh.
Denver, but I don't think that's right.
No,
Um,
I think Denver would be happy to have him.
maybe it was.
oh yeah,
Of course, they think they're going to get Rodgers, but too many things.
yeah.
are going,
That Rodgers front has kind of died off, right now. So, I don't know if no news is good news or what, but that's
I
kind of
think-
fallen off.
He's just, he can afford to pay whatever fines. It doesn't bug him. He's probably trained. He's probably in great shape.
Oh,
I think
Yeah.
he doesn't like the GM, the front office guy.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the big issue. And he's just making a statement, and then he'll show up for training camp and do his thing. I don't think he's going anywhere. He's got a championship caliber team there. You don't leave that.
So he's in Denver, Bridgewater is.
Bridgewater
is in Denver. Okay.
Oh, he is in Denver. Okay.
Oh, he'll
he might
definitely
be the
get back up
starter
there.
He
I think Locke will still start there.
You think they'll give him a solid shot at the starting job?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
think
Yeah,
so.
no, it'll be a quarterback controversy or quarterback competition, but Locke will probably start, and then Bridgewater will be that decent backup that they need. So things happen. So, But with that being said, right now, what kind of how can I what kind of or let me see, how can I put this? Is there anything that stands out that you guys can't wait to see competition wise with your team or other teams that players moving and stuff? Like I mean, I know you both are Dallas Cowboys fans.
Right.
Okay.
I was thinking about Chicago with
Wentz or no.
it was
Wentz.
Dalton and
Dalton and Fields.
Dalton.
yeah.
Oh.
Because they're saying that Dalton's going to be the guy.
Yeah. Should
But
be.
yeah, he should.
Ooh.
But I think Fields will be better.
Yeah.
Well, Andy's a good guy. We saw that here in Dallas last year. He had it took him a while to get his feet under him once he was put in there, and then he got, drilled a couple times. And but I saw a quarterback. I always liked him in Cincinnati. He always put up good numbers. He's been to Pro Bowls. He's not old. He's only like 33, I think. He's a good guy, a good veteran. He'd be the perfect guy for Fields to be under
behind.
a while.
Yep.
And they got some weapons. If he comes out and played like he did for the last 6 games for the Cowboys, he played pretty well. He had a couple 300-yard games, a couple of 2 touchdowns. He's tough. He bloody hand and everything. I didn't know that about him, and he's pretty fiery too. He gets mad, and you like to see that in your guy. I think he'll be a good fit, and Fields should learn. I don't think he's washed up by any means. You said Bridgewater would be the best backup. I think if Andy went backup, then he'd be the best one because he's very consistent. He's still got a big arm. He throws a good ball. He'd be a good guy for Fields to learn. If they're winning, and they say they go into the, mid-season and they're like 6-3, something like that, maybe even, or 5-3, and they're producing, I think they'll just let them roll with it, and then if they get on
you gotta go with the odd hand. I mean,
yeah, and it doesn't mean he's throwing for 5,000 yards, but if he's got a quarterback rating of like 90, which is pretty good, and he's not throwing interceptions. He didn't show that propensity in Dallas, and he's never shown that in his career, And I think he'd be a good guy for Fields to learn under, because he signed with Chicago, a 2-year deal or 1 year for $10 million, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It wasn't too much.
Yeah. And, it could be good news for Chicago. If their team is blowing up, though, and he can't even help it, then you put Fields in and let him learn like that, and things. So
I mean, for me, it's, outside of Minnesota and Fields and Dalton, I'm kind of interested to see competition in Jacksonville, what that's going to turn out, because they had all the cap and the space in the room to make moves, and they did. They had, 11 picks this draft season?
Seemed like every other one.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm kind of intrigued on what Jacksonville is going to look like, with Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, the receivers, Tim Tebow, if he's going to make the team. So, I mean, I'll keep my eyes on Jacksonville, I think.
Urban Meyer's first year in the NFL, that's
Myers
itself. I mean, great college coach, and okay, but that doesn't always translate,
Oh.
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And he's not young anymore. I don't know how he is. I would say 60 something.
Yeah, something up there.
And but they're being cautious with Trevor Lawrence right now. He's got a little bit of a hamstring thing, but these are OTAs. They're not going to get the guy to push it. They just want to.
Did he finish? Didn't he have an injury in college late in the year too? A shoulder?
Who, Tebow?
No, Lawrence. Didn't Lawrence have a arm injury?
He was hurt, but I don't think that was a.
Maybe no, it wasn't major, but
it was. Yeah. It was
not throwing shoulder. I think
playing because they were in the college playoffs.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't a big deal. Something the hamstring thing. It might be new, and it just happened to him. Another guy I want to watch is Carson Wentz, Colts. Colts are good. They're good. And if Wentz could, I had talked with a guy the other day that was from Philadelphia, and he knows, he lives there, and so he knows a little bit more than we do. Wentz's issue with the front office and the coaching staff. Once Frank Reich left, they started. He kind of seemed to lost his way. Of course, he got hurt too, as well, and because he's that kind of player, he's got to hold back on throwing his body around. He is a big guy, So there was something going on there that was weird. He's got too much talent. And he's only 26 right now, so you can't say he's washed up because he didn't perform well last year at all. And I think for somebody like that, and he's reunited with his old defensive or offensive coordinator, that might give him a spark, and he'll be, he's coming in the year. He's going to be fresh start, new team, a good team, healthy. I'm kind of anxious. I think he'll do well. I hope he does. I saw him play in college too, and I was actually praying for the Cowboys to draft him because he was the same draft as Dak. And
no, we're hoping Minnesota would have taken him too. So, but no, he's definitely an MVP caliber quarterback when he's healthy.
Yeah,
and the AFC right now, I mean, just on the quarterback position, I mean, they probably got the top 10, 12 quarterbacks in the league right now. I mean, every team seems to have that solid quarterback right now. And I know people are probably going to be like, well, what about this guy? What about this guy? I'm just talking AFC right now. I mean, there's a handful of teams that don't have a solid quarterback right now in the AFC, but it seems like they're just studs right now on that side of the division.
What about the Texans with Deshaun?
Yeah, they're.
I think
they're stuck right now. I mean, unless some of these girls start coming out and saying that they lied and they got paid to make up these stories, they're stuck with him. I mean, sorry for him. I mean, and he doesn't want to be there. Nobody wants to take him. So
that's the thing. They can't trade him because they won't get nothing for him. and
Exactly.
he don't want to.
Well, they would if he didn't have all these allegations on him. I mean,
if that didn't come up, they probably could have traded him. Maybe they would have gotten.
They would have got a steal. I mean, just look what the Rams got or what the Lions got for Stafford from the Rams. I mean, he would have got maybe double that. And there's another quarterback, Stafford in L.A. And then what's his face in Detroit?
Golf.
I mean, those are there's a couple of golf. So a couple quarterbacks. New teams. I mean,
I think Stafford will be good in L.A.
I think Stafford will. Yeah.
I mean, Stafford, if he gets in a Super Bowl, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's put up good numbers for his career. He's just hasn't. Detroit's gotten into the playoffs, but they just never have the team. I feel sorry for Goff because Detroit has some good players, but they're not that good. The Rams are a much better team, and a guy, a veteran like Stafford. And he's not old. He's 33 or 34, somewhere in there. He can still throw, for 4,000 yards and have the big game. And he's a tough guy. We've all seen him playing with his arm hanging off, and he still goes out there play. I think that's a good thing for the Rams. I don't know why they wanted to get rid of Goff because he was good too, but maybe there was some issue with the team or him, his personality. Who knows why,
Well, and a guy, and a fan that's seen Stafford, twice a year forever, and even Ace, our lovely, partner in crime here, being he's a Packer fan. He said the same thing too. When you face Detroit, their record might be 2 and whatever, but you never know what it's going to be like when Stafford plays. I mean, they could be down in the fourth quarter. He's going to bring them back. I mean, he puts up the numbers. So, one, I'm glad that he's not there, but two, it's like, like you said, Dirk, he's in LA now. He gets into the Super Bowl. I mean, that might propel him into, Hall of Fame category. So, but guys, I gotta go start that thing we call work. I wish I could sit here and talk more with you. But you guys have a good show. So talk to you later, guys.
All right, happy Father's Day.
But I mean,
man. It's that's interesting. Stafford. I'm that might be. Who would be your favorite? What's going to happen with this thing? Me, it's either Wentz in the Colts or Stafford in L.A.
I would like to see Stafford. What happens with Stafford in L.A.?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it was his first year in the NFL, or maybe it was down the line. I don't know. He got injured, and he's like, my shoulder. But he's like, I'm going to still play. And he led into
It was playoff implications or something like that, and he came in and he played. I remember that. That was a few years ago. But he's gotten hurt like that a couple times and still goes out there. He's an athlete. He's a competitor. He's always going to give it his all. I believe. He's a tough guy, and he's probably a really nice guy. Never any controversy or anything like that. And he will go out there and throw the 400-yard game up on you. He's a good quarterback. He's been unfortunate that he's had to play in Detroit. He had Megatron for a few years, and that was they were always in the playoffs then, but, they just didn't have the defense to back it up.
I was hearing that Calvin Johnson, before he retired, he wanted to trade, but Detroit's like, no, we don't want to trade you. And he just retired. But he was just asked, if you're still playing and you were able to go somewhere, where would you like to go? And he's like, anywhere. I could fit anywhere with any team. Where would you have liked seeing Calvin Johnson, Megatron? Where would you like to see him at? if he were in another uniform.
Yeah, him. It's maybe with the Seahawks, if he was still playing age,
Yeah,
everything.
right.
Seahawks, because Russell Wilson with the long ball accuracy, of course, with Brady, I mean, Brady's had the really super good slot receivers, Welker and Edelman, and a little bit of Amendola. He had Randy Moss for 1 or 2 years at the end of his career, Randy Moss was actually playing well. Now he's got Mike Evans in Tampa, and they've got some other receivers there. Probably Brady and Russell Wilson. I can say, of course, the Cowboys, but
right.
Our big three, they're hard to match up. Match. What you're going 1A and 1B there. So
yeah. I mean, I'm going to close out with this, but who would you like to see in the Super Bowl this year?
This year,
yeah.
Well, last year it was Kansas City. Everybody's going to hate me, but I like Brady, and I wouldn't mind seeing the Buccaneers in it again. I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch.
I wouldn't mind a rematch.
Of course, I'd like the Cowboys in there,
right.
but they're not a favorite. I'd venture to say that Kansas City and the Buccaneers are the favorites to get in anyway. I never looked at the lines for that type of thing, but I'll bet they're just about the number one favorites to repeat and, stuff. So, I mean, I want Brady to keep going. I want him to make his record sick. 10 Super Bowls in 25 years of playing or whatever like that. It's silly, the haters are haters out there, and they're going to hate. But he's good.
He's good.
Got it. And Mahomes, hopefully he gets at the end of his career. Hopefully he's near there because he's my Red Raider boy. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean Kansas City would be a good pick. They're almost a Dallas team in a way. They were once.
Well, when they come here, it's like they are because the stadium's all red.
Well, yeah.
They travel well, though.
They do.
Who would your teams be?
I would have to say Tampa and Kansas City. I can't think of any other team to, maybe Green Bay if Tampa isn't there. But I don't know. I mean, Green Bay's kind of on the edge of kind of good and kind of bad because of the Aaron Rodgers situation.
Yeah. But, I mean, they're always going to be in the picture. Yeah.
New England, I don't see them in the picture anymore. Ever since Tom Brady left, that's kind of out the window.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just looking to make the playoffs now, Yeah. If we threw out Kansas City and Tampa Bay, what would your pick be?
I'd like Green Bay and Pittsburgh. I mean,
that could happen.
Pittsburgh's still in it. They still have their most of their key players in Ben Roethlisberger and all of them. So, I mean, it's almost like the Rodgers situation, but Roethlisberger's always hurt.
He's getting older. I think if he gets hurt again this year, he'll probably finally hang him up. But if he's healthy, he might play another year or two. They haven't. They stuck with Mason as their backup. They didn't pick They could have picked a couple of. There was a couple of quarterbacks available for them in their picks. They didn't go that way. I don't know what they picked in their 6, 7 rounds. Sometimes.
Right.
For me, Buffalo in the
Buffalo.
AFC, and let's see, in the NFC, Seattle's still good. Cowboys could be there, maybe. And who am I leaving out? It could be the Rams,
Yeah. Could be Seattle.
Yeah,
Seattle's still a good team.
Yeah, Seattle or the Bolts.
Chargers.
They got that good young quarterback. I think Buffalo, though, they're Josh Allen. He's really good, and they're a really good team. They got a stout offense and a really good defense. They have the ability to unseat Tampa. They do. I think them more than Pittsburgh.
What about Arizona? Because they got Kyler Murray, and he's an upcoming.
And they got DeAndre Hopkins and a couple of running backs.
J.J. Watt on defense.
Yep, J.J. Watt. He'll make a huge difference. So that could be something, man.
I think Arizona will make the playoffs this year.
I don't know how he's doing it.
I think Arizona will make the playoffs this year or come close.
I think they should. They're a good team. It's with them. I think it's their defense. Are they going to be good? Are they going to improve? Because they're probably a lot like the Cowboys. If their defense is just average, then they'll be a couple games over 500. Maybe get the 10 and 11 wins. That's where I'm slotting the Cowboys at around with the 17 game season. 10, 11, maybe 12. But it depends on their defense. As long as the defense plays average, I don't want them. Well, if they get to be top 10, that's great. But if they are number 15 in the league, they should be in the playoffs.
I kind of see Cowboys going 12 wins. Their most important games are going to be in the division, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like any team.
Yeah, the way that the East went last year, they are, everybody admits it. They are the best team, and out of the other three, I think Washington is one that's getting better. Got to figure out what their quarterback situation is going to be because they have a good defense. If the Cowboys had their defense, I'd put Cowboys almost probably 3rd, 4th pick to be in the Super Bowl, maybe 5th pick to be in the Super Bowl. That's what we want the Cowboys defense to be. They've got the defense in that division for sure because they've been drafted that way, and those guys are solid. So it's on their quarterback situation.
Well, that's it for today's show.
Okay.
Derek, any final words before we head out?
No, we're probably in the slow part of the NFL year. OTAs are over. We got 3 or 4, 4 or 5 weeks.
I think about 4,
till training camp really starts, and then we'll be hearing news. The only thing we'll be hearing now is injury updates, trade, rule changes, things like that. We can try to discuss some other things next week. Okay. But good seeing you and Big B.
Thank you, Big B, for coming on.
Yep.
You can see him and Dirk on deck Tuesdays,
8 or 9 o'clock. We flip flop.
Right. Yeah. And then I'll be back next week, and then tomorrow it should be on Sports Minute. So, freeform edition. So.
All righty. Right. Well, have a good one, Chris.
All right.
Well, see you later.
All right. And until then, see you guys next week.